Okay, so we've been sitting here for like 20 minutes just
Yeah.
ranting about fast food, and we thought we should probably record this and
We should
not
probably record this.
just sit here saying nothing. Weirdly, I don't know where to
So-
go from here. You
So
go.
so this started out because I don't even know where we started. I was talking about fast food. And I was saying when I eventually get Dan to come to the States, Dan realized he didn't put his headphones in.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to mute my audio for that start bit because it's gonna have your voice coming out my speakers. Well, you should be fine though. It's fine. Keep going.
We'll just give them like audio whiplash.
Sure.
We're professionals. So I was saying when Dan comes to the States, I think I should just bring him on like a fast food tour. However, I think there are places where he might go, oh, we should go here. And I look at him and go, we don't need to do that. So Dan, what are some places you would like to go fast food wise that you have heard of? I'll bring up some that you maybe don't know or that
so,
I think.
I think the iconic ones, you have like In-N-Out Burger, which I haven't had, which I've heard.
Never had it. I'll tell you why.
Is it in Colorado?
It is now in Colorado. They've branched out into Colorado.
Okay.
I pass one going to my parents every time, and I consider it. Here's the deal: it's mostly California, but they started branching out. It's weirdly super popular, and so the line is always it's really long. And I always look at it and I go, it's not fast food if I wait in an hour-long line. And look, there are people that swear by it. There are some people that say it's just better in California. There are also people who are like, I waited an hour and it sucked. I don't know. I'll try it with you.
Okay.
I have little interest because I sit here and go, I can make a burger in that time. Like I can go to the store, buy all the ingredients, make a burger in that time, and it's going to be better. I can guarantee that for a fact. I can make a better burger in an hour.
Yeah, this is where we
Probably
differ.
you know.
I do not have faith in my abilities to make a better burger. That's why I spend money on it. But
It's
it's
I
fair.
mean-
no, I do understand the waiting time is ridiculous. I remember
Yeah.
when I
That's
visited
insane.
America when I was like 12.
Uh-huh.
We were in, I think it was either Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and it was like the last day before we were flying out to somewhere else, and we wanted to just pick up some quick fast food.
yeah.
And we went. My mom saw Five Guys, and we're like, "Oh, let's go to
Nice.
Five Guys." She didn't know at the
Oh, I know
time
where
that
this is going.
she-
I know
well,
where
no,
this is going.
well, there's
Sorry.
one way, but not the other way.
Oh, okay.
I'm allergic to nuts, and my mom didn't know that. At the time, she didn't know that Five Guys had nuts. We didn't end up getting Five Guys for two reasons.
Oh, there you go.
One, there was a really long wait, so we waited there for like 20, 25 minutes to even get to the counter. And then my mom
worth
realized how expensive it was, and she stormed out.
Yep.
Because it's
So,
really expensive for fast food.
Here's the deal. I guess you probably never. So when we lived in Munich, they started opening Five Guys.
There's a Five Guys
There's
near
like
me
a
here.
couple. There's a couple Five Guys now in Munich. There's a Five Guys near you.
Yeah, I walked past it on the way to like the
that's
dentist
pretty
or the
cool.
main train station. There's like a McDonald's, a Macca's, a Subway, and a
Yeah.
Five Guys like all next to each
Yeah.
other.
Okay. So Five Guys is good. I like them. They're too expensive. Their burger is so expensive for like a patty. And to be fair, the replacement burger place I go to is just a local place. Is like the same price, but I get a better burger out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Five Guys to buy fries and a shake. Because their shakes are good. And their fries, what they do is they give you this little cup. If you get the smallest one, they give you this little cup. They have 3 different sizes. This little cup, and then they fill it, and then they take your bag, and they just fucking dump all the rest of the fries in the bag. You get so many fries for your value. They also have a Cajun style fry. They just throw Cajun seasoning on it.
Yep.
It's really good.
Do they use the
Um,
peanut oil for the fries?
Yes, everything is
Oh,
in
fucking
peanut
hell.
oil.
Bro, they
Yeah,
really
sorry,
don't.
you
they,
just straight up can't eat them.
they really don't care about.
They
us.
have boxes of peanuts, and you can just eat them.
Is there any reason why they've made that their business model?
I don't know. It's just their thing.
Yeah. Is it worth going to
tastes-
Five Guys just for a shake, or is it like an okay shake?
We could go to a different place for a shake.
Okay.
Like their shakes are good. They're not like, oh my god, these guys. Like I'd take you if we're gonna go to a dessert place. Or if we're getting a dessert, I'd take you somewhere else.
Yeah, because I will say one of my like biggest guilty pleasures is like a good like classic metal cup chocolate shake.
Interesting.
Like I don't know if this is just me growing up outside of America, and I don't know how many other people have this like fantasy, I guess, as well. But like one of my like biggest like loves and like things I see in TV shows and everything is like old school American diners with like a chocolate shake and like a sandwich or something.
It's
Like,
got the
it's
like the
such a
whipped
vibe.
cream on top and the cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like did you ever watch Riverdale?
No, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, obviously
I know
garbage,
the vibe.
garbage show, but like that, the old school like 50s, 60s diner, but like the red leather seats, the jukebox. I fucking love that vibe so much.
I remember a friend of ours when we were in high school. I don't think you were there. I think I was with like a different friend group. It was his birthday, and he's like, "We gotta go to this American diner. It's this American style diner." And we went there, and he's like, "Dude, it's the best. It's super authentic." And I went there, and I was like, "This is really expensive," and it's like, all right.
Yeah, it's a very similar situation to where I went to the Brauhaus, which is like a beer house in Melbourne, which is it's supposed to be like the German one. And all my friends were like, "Wow, this is really cool and authentic," and it's like so like cultural. And
It's not.
I'm like, this is
and
decent.
look, it's never going to be, and it's fine. I went to the Denver Oktoberfest, and that was fun. I wasn't anything like it. It was never going to be. Like, they didn't have rides, they didn't have like tents. They had beer. They didn't. I think they did have some like German beer, but it was like an American brand of German beer. I ended up getting a Belgian because their German beer was like a dark, and it's like. No, it was just wrong.
It's not really the type of beer you'd get at Oktoberfest.
No, it's not
at all. Do they have like the bigger mask glasses, or did you drink out of the bottle?
They do have those.
Okay,
I did buy it. It was a lot of money. The thing is, they weren't. So at Oktoberfest, you don't get the Stein with it.
No,
you buy the beer and you leave them there. They take them away.
Yeah.
At Denver Oktoberfest, if you want to drink out of a Stein, you have to buy it.
Okay.
I don't know. I think they just they don't have like people at like. They don't have like security making sure that you give it back.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So you just like go up to a stand, you pay for it, and then if you want to refill, it's like not cheaper. And then you can get it refilled for like a certain price. It cost me a lot of money, but it was worth it because it was fun.
How do you feel about free refills for drinks?
I think for stuff like soda, I grew up with it 100%. I think
I agree.
The thing is, so I work at a restaurant where we just have like the fountain soda.
Yeah.
You just go up to the fountain and
you get it yourself.
You get it yourself. The way they do it there is you get like a concentrated syrup and it just mixes with carbonated water.
Just realized my lights on properly.
Nice.
I'm so professional.
You're so professional. It's not me this time, which is usually the case. The syrups are like, oh God, I can't remember. It's like $100, $200 or something like that. Like, it's pretty expensive, but you get like 600 servings out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get one thing of Coke, it's like 10 cents. And then if you go back for another cup of Coke, oh no, you did 20 cents. The cups, like your cups are like $2. Like, you make good money off of the sodas, but it's also because you know that people are gonna they're gonna bring in their own water bottles, or they're gonna take our water cups and fill it up not with like water.
It's also very rare that people are gonna go back and get like 20 refills of a drink.
Yeah, it's not like they're gonna come back and get their money's worth out of it.
Have you ever seen
you have to drink
someone do that?
No.
Because like,
you see people get multiple. You can only hold so much liquid in your body, and a restaurant isn't really big enough for anyone to like stay there that long.
Have you ever seen someone like come in, not buy anything, and just get like a drink from the tap?
Okay, so here's the deal. I've seen a lot of things.
Okay.
So we'll have some homeless people hang out around our store, and sometimes they're fine, sometimes they yell at people. I saw a guy come in and fill up a water cup, which is clear, so you can see the contents in it. It's, I don't know, it's like that big. Decent size. And he filled it up with Frank's Red Hot like buffalo sauce. He filled it up with hot sauce like halfway.
Right.
I think took like a Parmesan shaker, like a red pepper shaker, poured that in, and then salt, and then just drank it. And like he wasn't really disturbing anyone, like he wasn't coming up to people and like yelling at anyone. But we were all just kind of watching him like drink hot sauce. And once he had poured it, we're like, well, he could drink it, I guess. Like I'm not gonna tell you to spit it out.
What the fuck?
Yeah, people do weird shit.
That is. I was expecting you to
Yeah.
say like, oh, he got some like root beer or something. Nope.
No, we'll definitely see people who will grab a water cup and then like clearly pour like not water because again it's clear. If they're younger, I'll always get them for it. I don't like yell at them. I'm just like, hey man, make sure to get water next time. It's great. Getting like college students on it is the best because like usually there are these entitled like kids. I say that as if I'm not like a couple years older than them. They're these entitled kids
No,
and
that's
they're
fine.
like, I can do whatever. And you'll see them like kind of sneakily try and get Coke, but it's like, again, I can see what it is. And I'll just be watching them do it. They like think they're so sneaky. I'm just staring at them. And then they stop and I'm like, hey man, get water next time. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay. They're like, so it's the best.
That's great.
I had one night where I was working a night shift and it was busy. There was a bunch of people in there. It was rowdy. And this guy who was clearly on something, I don't know if he was drunk. He could have been on Coke. Who knows? He had the energy of like
A man on drugs.
he had the energy of a man who, went skiing. And he did that. He like got Coke and I was like, hey man, next time get water. And he didn't really acknowledge me. He just went back to his table and was like, okay, whatever. You win some, you lose some. I watch him go back. He got water.
Hey,
So I got through to him.
Respect.
Or he just needed water. But I was like, all right, I'll take that.
yeah, that's decent.
But yeah. Any other fast food restaurants that you're like, or just restaurants where
Yeah, so obviously In-N-Out was one of the big ones.
Okay.
Obviously you used to work at
I worked at Chick-fil-A for
that's
a
the
little
one,
bit.
Chick-fil-A. So
Uh-huh.
I'd want to go in on a Sunday to
Just not see anyone there.
exactly.
I could tell you about Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, no. So if you don't know, Chick-fil-A is very religious.
Very religious. They're not open on Sunday.
Are they Catholic or they?
I don't. So I don't think they're. The religion is not so involved in the restaurant itself that I would know. It's probably it's Southern, so it's probably Baptist. I don't know. It's Christian.
It's religious enough that they're closed on Sundays because that's like God's
It's religious
day.
enough that they're closed on Sundays, and most people there are probably Christian and usually pretty Christian. I think I told someone that I was atheist there once, and they kind of were like, huh?
You can't work here.
and I
That's
was-
blasphemy.
Yeah. Some of the rules that they had, I don't know if that was just like store by store, or if that was just general policy. You couldn't have like colored hair or a hairstyle that essentially was like would distract the customer.
Right.
I did have colored hair for part of that time. I wore a hat, so it didn't matter. It was all in my hat.
Yeah.
You couldn't have facial hair.
At all?
That changed. No facial hair.
Wow.
That I think they were maybe like you could have a little bit of a mustache if it's like nice and clean and everything. That changed pretty quickly because I worked through COVID and everyone wore masks. So a lot of the guys would grow their beards out.
Yeah.
And like managers would do it. So it's like, well, if the managers are doing it, we can do it.
Mhm.
So people would grow them out.
What about tattoos?
I don't remember what they said about tattoos. Probably just like not visible tattoos.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
But
yeah.
I think
Bro, if colored hair is
which
off
is so-
limits, surely you're not
Look,
going to
it's-
have like neck and arm tattoos.
right. Well, it's so funny to tell people in a kitchen to not have tattoos. Like, I almost feel like it's a requirement to have tattoos if you work in a kitchen.
Also, if you're not being seen by the customers, it shouldn't really matter that much.
Well, if you were in the kitchen, they were probably like, who cares? Because it's like half. No. like a third of the people working there would be in the kitchen, and then like the other
Yeah.
other 2/3 were working with customers or like in view of customers.
Like
I worked in the kitchen, and thank God. It's
it
so
is.
much
I do
better.
think it's ridiculous being able to like dictate how your employees can look. I understand it a little bit if it's like a customer service job because you want like the image of your company to be like nice
Yeah.
and welcoming and all that. And if you have like someone
Yeah.
with blacked out eyes, a split tongue, a bunch of piercings,
Sure,
I could
I get
understand
that.
why you'd be like,
But that's where you look at them and you go, "Don't work for us." But there's a restaurant with your vibe, and it's over there because there
Yeah.
are definitely restaurants.
there's a
where it's
hot
like, it
topic
makes
down the
sense.
street, man. Just go there.
There's a hot topic. There's there's an like an edgy coffee shop
Or like in
or like a new
Australia,
age.
there's a tech store called JB Hi-Fi, and it's very, very common. It's almost like a requirement that you have to be like somewhat alternative or emo to work there.
Yeah.
Every fucking employee
Nice.
is just on that spectrum of like style.
That's great. I love that. Yeah, there's some or work in the kitchen and it's fine because
That
it's
doesn't matter.
like it doesn't matter. You have tattoos. No one really cares what you
Mm-hmm.
look like as long as your hair is covered, you're wearing the right like uniform. You know, you got closed-toed shoes. That's the important part. Now at Chick-fil-A, I was fine working there. I work at a restaurant now where I mean I get paid a lot more. I'm living in a different state, so that helps. But I get paid better. The work is a lot better. And like when I worked at Chick-fil-A, there wasn't. You would take a break. You'd get a break, but like when you're working the entire time.
Mhm.
Like there was almost never a stop. And like obviously there are days where like I'm working the entire time outside of my break, but a lot of days there's no customers and there's no pizza or there's nothing to do.
Mhm. Yeah, it
I'm
also
not doing
helps that
anything.
like
That's,
you're
you know.
not at like a big chain restaurant now, so it's a lot more like relaxed
Yeah.
at times.
It's a lot more relaxed.
Yeah,
like
so-
I have met the owner a couple times and I work with a guy or like I've met like the big owner and then I've also like I see the like I think lower stake owner, like the
Mhm.
operations manager, whatever he is. I see him all the time. But yeah, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A,
I don't
no
know.
one-
I'm biased. I'm biased against them. Their chicken's fine. I'd take you to a better chicken place.
Fair
I like
enough.
Cane's better.
Raising Cane's, right?
Okay, sweet. I love Raising Cane's.
So this will lead into something we can talk about next. But I was with my friends at PAX on Friday,
Okay.
which is the gaming tech convention in Australia.
Yes.
It's also in America and other places, but the Australian
that's
one I went to.
Yeah.
And they were talking about like the Raising Cane sauce and like how they want to go so bad and have it. So I was going to
It's
bring
so
that up.
good. Okay, so Raising Cane's is an interesting one because a lot of times fast food has multiple different things on their menu.
Hmm.
Raising Cane's does chicken tenders or like strips, fries, Texas toast,
Which is
coleslaw.
what the fuck is Texas toast?
It's like kind of close to garlic bread and
Okay.
just regular bread. It's like a mix between the two. It's really good. It's really tasty, not very healthy for you bread. That's it. There's like 4 different things that you can get and they're all just different. I think 3 of those are like you either get 3, 4, or 5 pieces of chicken strips
Okay.
or 3, 4, or 6. And then there's like a sandwich, but it's just they take the Texas toast and put the
Chicken.
chicken. It's so good. It's so quick because of that reason. And they've just like made that taste really good. Their sauce is also really good because it's like a ranch based sauce.
Yeah, so I've
It's like a
seen like
Chipotle ranch.
I've seen like
kinda
the videos
thing.
of people getting like a big cup of sauce from Raising Cane's and just dip the whole fucking chicken strip in.
Mhm,
Yes,
mhm.
that's what I want to try
Uh,
for sure.
Yeah. What you can do as well is if you ever go, if we go, I'll tell you this. I think you can trade the coleslaw out and get more sauce or get more bread. It's one of the two. I think you could do either.
Good because I hate
And
coleslaw.
it's worth it. Because the coleslaw, I'm not a big coleslaw fan. I like it, but it's like coleslaw, Texas toast.
Yeah.
One is a lot better than the other.
Personally, I just despise coleslaw. I'm getting better at like liking a lot more vegetables now. Because for the longest time I hated like salads and shit. I like a lot
Yeah.
more now. Coleslaw, there's just something about it I just cannot get behind. Like it's really like cold and like slimy. I just hate it. So like at KFC, usually when you get like a box meal in Australia, you get coleslaw with it. You can also switch that out for like more chips. So every time I'm getting more fucking fries, without fail.
Yeah, that's fair.
So what do we got so far? We got In-N-Out, which
We got Kane.
is something.
Yeah,
Raising
In-N-Out.
Cane's. I guess. Why do I keep forgetting your old restaurant? Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
There is Taco Bell in Australia, but I imagine it's not as good as the American one, or not as iconic as the American one.
Sure.
I feel like I'd want to go there
So-
just to try it.
So with Taco Bell, that's one where I'd go half and half on if we try it. Taco Bell's a weird one because I haven't really done a lot of Taco Bell until I hit college.
Mhm.
And even then I still don't really go that often because you go a couple times, you're like, when everyone's like, oh dude, Taco Bell fucked me up. I haven't had that experience, but I've definitely left a Taco Bell and I'm like, my stomach's a little not happy about this.
Yeah. Like, I know it's not great Mexican. Like, I'm sure there'd be like a lot better, like just like family places and shit that are just way better.
Yeah,
But I feel like
And
I'd
that's
want to
the
go just
thing.
to say I've been.
sure. That's the thing. If you're getting Mexican food, I'm taking you to a good Mexican place. Like we're not going to fucking Chipotle or Qdoba or
Chipotle's another one I was going to mention. Again,
I will. Well, I'm willing to try it. I mean, I like Chipotle. It's good. There's just better. There's a local chain that I like that's like Chipotle, but just way better.
I'm sure, yeah.
There's also a local spot that I go to that's like 5 minutes from my house, and it's like right next to a Chipotle and a Qdoba, and it's just better and cheaper and more interesting. It's great. Taco Bell's fine. It's cheap. You can get most of their things are like maybe $6 max.
That's pretty good.
So, but one thing doesn't really fill you up. At least it doesn't fill me up. So usually it's like you get a couple things.
Mhm.
I think Taco Bell is a place where like you can spend the least amount of money to fill yourself up from like fast food.
Yeah.
Because they have some like cheap, like they have items that are like $1 or $2, and you can just get like 4 or 5 of them, and that can fill you up. It's not good for you whatsoever, but Taco Bell is also a lot of just like, it's a lot of the same things made in a slightly different way.
Yeah, so I watched a video, I can't remember which YouTuber, but it was eating everything at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they pretty
God.
much, by the end of it, they were obviously fucked. But also, they were just like,
Yeah.
it's like the same 3 dishes, just made in different ways.
Uh-huh.
Which I don't
Yeah,
want to be
pretty
mean,
much.
but that's I feel like that's a lot of what Mexican cuisine is. Not that it's bad, it's great. At least the popular Mexican cuisine. I'm sure there's like
to
other
a
dishes.
degree, but yeah, there's a lot more you could do.
But you get, like-
it's also like, I think Taco Bell doesn't get into the like, I think what a lot of Mexican food can be similar. It's just more like it's different sauces and different like meats.
Yeah, the flavorings
I guess
are different.
different toppings,
The
but
composition is all
that-
roughly the same, though. It's
Yeah.
like you get burritos,
Yeah.
burrito bowls, tacos, which is like a hard burrito, basically.
yeah,
A chimichanga, which is
enchiladas. Like,
enchiladas. Like,
a lot of it is a tortilla with stuff in it.
yeah. Which, hey, I'm not going to complain. It's a good
Which is
recipe.
great.
It works. But, like, I feel like compared to, like, something like Japanese, where there's so much
Yeah.
variety in terms of composition and
Yeah.
things used in it in flavor. Also, that's probably the popular Mexican food. I'm sure there's a bunch of, like,
That's a lot of
other
the
stuff
American
that's better.
Mexican food.
Yeah, exactly.
There is plenty of other things. But yeah, that's a big thing you don't get with Taco Bell is like, I feel like it's ground beef and chicken and maybe beef, but like with Mexican, there's so many different things you can
Mhm.
do with all the different types of meats and different sauces and different toppings that go with that, where it's like, yeah, a lot of composition is the same, but there's so many like varying like things you can get. Like there's like a place that does like street taco style tacos, and they're all like $5 and they're like not that big. And they're all just like different meats with different stuff on it. And they can be very different, even though it's like inherently
Yeah.
they're all tacos.
That is the good thing about it, is like it's a very similar meal, so you're gonna get a similar like feel every time, but you can change it up quite a bit,
yeah,
which is nice.
yeah, yeah.
I think in terms of there's no other specific restaurants that come to mind. I think I haven't been to America since like 2017 or something, and even
Okay.
then I was only in Florida. So I feel like I'd want to just go to a bunch of different American restaurants just to see like how different it is. Like see if the American McDonald's is actually like very
Sure.
different to the Australian McDonald's in terms of like flavor and how like sugary it is or whatever. Because like
Yeah.
another thing about America that still blows me away to this day is that your bread is like so much higher
Yep.
in sugar content than anywhere else in the world. It's ridiculous. It's basically like cake.
Subway bread in Europe is a pastry.
Interesting.
It is classified as a pastry because it has too much sugar in it.
That's crazy.
Yep. I wouldn't take you to Subway. First of all, you've been to Subway, but
Yeah.
there's better sandwich chains. I also think when it comes to sandwiches, local chains are just better.
Yeah.
Like I have 2 local chains near me that I really like, and I will go to them over any other place. Is it slightly more expensive? Yes. Is it so much better? Yes. I kind of have the same with burgers. Like there's so many burger places. I go to a local place if I can help it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just better. Out of the big 3, I personally think Wendy's is the best. The big 3 being McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. I like them the most. I like the Baconator.
Yeah. It's weird because
I
Wendy's,
don't know
Wendy's
if
in
I
Australia is a
have you
different
tried.
thing. Wendy's in Australia
really?
is like a, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a small, like, sort of like dairy, like bar. Like,
Dairy bar?
how do I describe? It's a milk bar,
Oh.
it's like I don't know how popular they are anymore, but you'd see them like in like big shopping malls. You know, how sometimes there's like a little like kiosk in the middle of the food aisle.
Yeah.
It's like where you'd see like a,
like an olive bar.
I guess, yeah. So it's like Wendy's are like these little bars in the middle of like shopping malls, not like a big restaurant. And they have like ice
Yeah.
cream, milkshakes, hot dogs, donuts.
Oh, okay.
And I used
So
to
it's-
have it when I was a kid
Okay.
so much. And it's so good.
I just thought it was like a buffet table kind of, or it was like a buffet thing, but there's just different milks in there.
No. No,
It's
it's,
just
like,
like, oh, I'll take a little scoop of strawberry.
it's just like a little kiosk is the best way I can describe it. But yeah, but they have like
Okay.
oh, I used to have it so much as a kid. You get hot dogs, ice creams. It's like, you know, when you go to like a football stadium and it's like those little like
Yeah.
aisles that have like drinks and like hot dogs and chips.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But they have like a bunch of
Okay.
dairy products as well. So good. I think it's
Okay.
actually originally from New Zealand, but it's in Australia as well. So good.
Hmm.
Also,
Sounds like
apparently,
Oh, wait, all the
shut
way
up.
around.
Apparently, Wendy's is coming to Australia.
Huh.
Your Wendy's, as the company announced back in August, the first restaurants will launch by 2025.
Huh. Well, you'll have to go and let me know what you think.
If I'm still here by then,
If you're still there by then. That is true.
because
Oh.
another American restaurant came to Australia like last year. Shit, what are
What
some of
was
the bigger burger restaurants? Denny's came to Australia.
Oh, Denny's came to Australia?
Yep, haven't been,
Interesting.
but it's
Okay.
here for some reason.
Okay. Huh. All right. I have very little opinion on Denny's. It just, I don't know, it exists.
Fair.
It's breakfast food. Is there any others that like you're like, oh man, we gotta go here? It doesn't have to be fast food. It could be like just big chains or something. And then I'll get into the list of some of the ones that I think you should have.
No, I feel like everything else, it's either in Australia or I've like had it before.
Sure.
Well, I'd like to go back to Wendy's because I've only had it once.
Yeah.
So that'd be good. But I think like most
this-
things I've like pretty much had before.
Yeah. This might be a stupid question. Did
Okay.
they have Outback Steakhouse in Australia?
Yes,
Okay, cool. Have you been to Outback Steakhouse?
I used to go there a lot as a kid. Yeah,
Okay.
And
Is
I-
it originally from Australia?
I don't think so.
It feels, I was like, I wouldn't even be surprised if it was just an American thing that never came to Australia. It'd be like going to a Panda Express in China.
No, it came from
Wrong.
Tampa, Florida.
Fuck yeah, baby.
So yeah, I used to go there a bunch as a kid. The only thing I ever got from Outback Steakhouse was the cheeseburger and fries, and it was fucking amazing. I really, really liked it. I
Yeah.
sometimes got steak, I think, when I was older. I
Okay.
really like it, but I consider it more like American cuisine than Australian.
I was gonna say, I feel like every time God, I haven't gone to an Outback in a while, but every time I like see their menus coming up and I'm like, I just feel like that's our food
Yeah, no, it's American cuisine
with an Australian accent.
in like an Australian aesthetic. That's pretty much all it is.
Yeah.
Because like you go to the restaurant, at least the one that used to be near my house in Sydney, you'd have like
Yeah.
a crocodile on the wall or a snake, and you have like
Of course.
these wooden like booths and everything. It felt like the Outback and everything, of course.
Yeah.
But the food was
Yeah.
just like kind of like American cuisine. Like, to be fair, I don't really know what Australian cuisine would be. I guess you'd get like kangaroo, crocodile meat. You'd have like
Sure.
it'd be closer to British food, really. It'd be like fish and chips, which I think you can get there.
And we don't need that.
You get like shepherd's pie and stuff. A snag, a hot dog, and some bread. Like,
Wait, I'm sorry. What's a snag?
it's just like a sausage and like a piece of white bread that you just roll up. It's like a hot dog, but instead of like the regular
So
hot
it's
dog,
the poor man's hot dog.
it's the better man's hot dog. You've not been to a Bunnings, man. You need to get over here.
I clearly haven't.
It's literally just a white bread, and you put like a sausage in it, not like the red hot dog, but like a proper
Yeah.
sausage. And it's just
Yeah.
that with some tomato sauce. That's all it is, and it's fucking incredible.
I mean, I have had like a hot dog in white bread.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you've had it before.
and
but
it does, and it hits.
It does hit. It's great. You can go to
Um,
Bunnings on like I think it's Sundays or something. And like so Bunnings is like a Lowe's in America or like a
Like a Home Depot.
Home Depot. And for some
Both
reason, I
work.
don't know why this became
Same
a thing, but like it's a thing that like the employees there on Sundays, or I don't know if they bring in people or it is the employees,
Uh-huh.
but they just like have a cookout and just like make a bunch of these and go buy them for like $1.
Huh. So that, you know what that reminds me that I should bring you to, just so you can experience true American culture.
A football game cookout.
Okay, first, yes, that's the much better answer. I was gonna say Costco.
I've been to Costco.
You've been to Costco?
They have it here.
They have Costco in Australia. Are they like massive and they like sell hot dogs for $1.50?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, it might not be $1.50 here, but it's around the same sort of
sure.
price. There's also Costco in Germany. What
shit.
are you on about?
there's Costco in Germany.
I'm
That
not
feels so un-German.
unless I'm misremembering that. Oh no, never mind. I'm thinking the wrong thing.
was like,
It is in Australia though.
Okay, have you been? It's like a massive warehouse
Yeah,
where
I've
they
been-
sell
I've-
like everything.
I've been there.
It's mostly in bulk.
Yeah, I haven't got the food from there, but I've been to Costco a bunch of times.
Huh? Do you have to like with the membership and everything?
Yeah, I had one.
Huh?
Well, like my mom had one, and you're allowed to give one to like one
Sure,
other person from your
yeah.
membership. So yeah, I had
Yeah.
it for a bit. Yeah, because like when I moved to Melbourne for the first time, my parents came down with me. We did like a big shop at Costco for like I got like 64 rolls of toilet paper. It was great.
Nice. Yeah, I've done that.
A bunch of different shit from there. Yeah, no, Costco's great. I bought there's some decent clothes you can get from there as well, surprisingly.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of my work clothes is Costco because it's cheap and efficient, and that's all I need.
Yeah. No, it's in Australia, it's in England. I think it's in New Zealand as well, maybe.
Really? Man, I didn't know this.
Yeah, it's in New Zealand.
It just feels so like quintessentially American.
It is very American. Like when I go there, it's like there's nothing else in Australia quite like it. It's like everything's so fucking massive in these giant sets. It's ridiculous.
It's unnecessary.
But it is cool. It's a fun place to just.
it's-
It's like the IKEA of the everything else, like not
Yeah.
home stuff, pretty much.
It's the IKEA of like a department stores and grocery store.
Yeah, because like in
It's the
Australia,
IKEA of Walmart.
we don't really have like a Walmart type. Oh, does Walmart sell food as well, like groceries?
Yeah. Not all of them, but at this point, it used to be a thing where there was like Walmarts and then like bigger Walmarts. And I feel like most Walmarts nowadays, yeah, they usually have
Yeah.
like a grocery section and then like an everything.
Yeah,
else
because in
section.
Australia we don't really have a Walmart equivalent. The closest thing we have is like a Target or Kmart, but they don't sell food. It's just like clothes,
Yeah.
houseware, and stuff. So Costco's the only
Yeah.
place in Australia that I know of that has like food, electronics, clothes, toy, like a bunch of all different things.
Toys, kitchenware.
Like you can buy an iPhone and then go buy underwear in the same store. It's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, and they're not even that far from each other.
No.
Yeah. They have people that just like stand around who I don't think they're affiliated with Costco, but they just like try and sell you like home improvement shit. I had one guy, I went today. I had someone who was like, "Hey man, do you want to talk about like solar?" And I just sat there and went, "I'm too poor for that." I was never going to talk to him anyways, but I'm like, most of the time, home improvement people will look at me and go, "He's too young. He's not. I'm not gonna sell. I'm not selling to the right guy." But this guy like talked to me, and I was kind of just like, "What are you doing?" Also, is that like the exit of Costco? I was like, I've already spent all my money.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Leave me alone. I'm not paying for solar panels for my rental townhouse. Get out of here.
Yeah. Have you seen, because this is something I've experienced on a few different occasions, is like I always see people having like meltdowns in Costco.
I mean, I haven't personally.
I've seen it
I
like
understand.
3 or 4 times. Like in the checkout aisle, I keep seeing like mothers having like
It's
meltdowns
stressful.
on Costco's. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's you get a lot of families going to Costco because like their food is cheaper, but it's not cheaper, but it's cheaper like per pound or like per ounce or whatever. But like for me, I don't buy a whole lot of food there. There's like specific items I get at Costco that I'll use in bulk, but I don't need 5 pounds of chicken.
Nah.
It's going to take me a while to get through that, or I have to eat chicken all week, which I don't necessarily do. I kind of get it though, because there's a lot of stuff going on. I think if you bring kids there, Costco is like, you can go in a Costco, you're like, I'm getting a couple things, and all of a sudden it's been like an hour. And you're just like, oh, we're just leaving Costco. I got out of my car to start walking, and the car next, or like, a couple of cars down that I walked past had the door open, and this like, I don't know, 8-year-old kid was like, Mom, we need to eat first because we're starving. And I was like, oh, she's gonna have a fun time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, they haven't even started Costco, and the kids are immediately like, let's go. Let's get those hot dogs.
Are they still $1.50?
Yep.
Nice.
Their pizza slices are like, I don't know, $2, $2.50, something like that.
Very good.
I tried one because I was curious. It's good for the price.
Yeah.
None special. I mean, they're not advertising anything special. They're advertising really cheap food.
Mm-hmm.
They have those samples out. I had a little sample of a corn dog today.
Oh, dude, I
fun.
haven't had a corn dog in years.
Dude, every once in a while I walk by the like frozen corn dogs, and I'm really tempted.
Mm-hmm.
I consider it.
Also, something you mentioned earlier about Raising Cane's reminded me, I have never had ranch before.
Oh.
I do not know what it tastes like.
I don't know how to describe it to you. Fuck, how do I describe ranch to you? It's more viscous than like a mayo.
More?
Yeah, it's more viscous.
Oh, God.
For sure. It's definitely like the fattiest of sauces.
Sounds like
But because of that, it's also good.
Fair enough.
I like it on like certain things. Like it's good on like chicken wings. Yeah, I don't know. We'll try
Okay, it is in Australia. I've just never bought it.
ranch.
Yeah.
I'd imagine ranch has made its way to Australia.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't say the same about Germany because it's banned, though. It's illegal.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I don't know if it still is.
Yeah. Why did they make it illegal? Just because it's unhealthy?
I think there's some sort of chemical or ingredient they use that's illegal in Germany, so ranch is illegal.
What, freedom? Kidding.
I think this is the same joke you made about 6 years ago.
Did I really?
Probably.
I mean, look, if it ain't broke.
Apparently you maybe can get it. Apparently you can get it at some US inspired restaurants. Or there's like some
Then
different,
it's probably not real ranch. It's probably like
different branding
altered.
of it.
Yeah, it's like altered, modified ranch.
Yeah, I think you might be able to get it under something called like American dressing, but I don't think it's the exact same.
I like the idea that German restaurants are like, or the German law is like, well, you can't buy ranch at a grocery store, but if like a restaurant is serving it, they need a license to do it, as if it's like trying to sell like caffeinated alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's the same in Australia. You can't sell like canned or bottled drinks that are both caffeinated and have alcohol in it. However,
I don't even know what drinks have that.
Four Loko. It's the reason they're banned. You know, you know what Four Loko is?
No.
It's caffeine. It's. I think some of you can't buy anymore. That is, it was a caffeinated alcohol drink, and it had a ton of caffeine and a good amount of alcohol in it. and it would like it's so bad for you. But at like a bar, you could get a vodka Red Bull because they have the vodka and then the Red Bull and then they mix them. I just like the idea that it's the same thing with ranch in Germany. They're like, you can't buy it at stores because it's dangerous. But if you go to a restaurant, they're legally allowed to serve it to you.
Well, yeah, I don't know, because you can get vodka Red Bulls pretty much anywhere. I don't know if there's any.
Yeah. But you can't buy canned vodka Red Bull. There isn't like.
I don't think so, no.
You have to mix it yourself.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm trying to think of some restaurants that like I think you need to go to. I think you need to experience Chili's.
Oh yeah.
It's not good. I did that for my roommates a couple years ago because they both never went to Chili's. I was like, we got to go to Chili's, and genuinely, it was horrible. I was disappointed because I was expecting it to just be like cheap, greasy food. I don't know if the particular Chili's I went to is just really bad. I don't think they cooked the chicken tenders long enough on one of my old roommates' chicken because it was like chalky. That's not the consistency you want out of chicken tenders. My chicken tenders were incredibly salty, like way too salty.
I'd probably like that. I'm a bit weird with salt.
It was like I sat there and I was eating it. I'm like I felt like dehydrated.
Yeah, that's the good shit.
You're so fucking weird, dude.
I put a lot of salt on things. It's probably pretty bad for me, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, sweet. You're never cooking. For me,
well, no, I don't know. I put it
yourself.
on afterwards. I don't put it on while cooking. I'll put it on like when I have my thing plated up. I'll then put more salt on if I want more.
All right, I can live with that.
It's always better to salt after, because then you obviously only fuck up your own meal.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay, I can respect that. I'm trying to think of like fast food or just like food. I take you to Culver's. That's a good brand that I don't think you've ever heard of.
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is though.
Okay, they do kind of the same foods as like they do burgers and they have like fries and stuff and shakes, but what I get every single time I go there is I'm pretty sure Culver's is Midwest. I feel like it has to be. It feels super Midwestern. They have cheese curds, or specifically fried cheese curds. It's so good. You ever had like a mozzarella stick?
Yeah.
It's like that, but instead of a stick, it's like a nugget.
Okay.
Like
I'm not like the biggest cheese person, but I'd give it a shot.
Okay. It's good. And I think their burgers are good. I tend to like their burgers. Every once in a while, they have like a pretzel bun. Pretzel bun's good. You had a pretzel bun?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I was like, you didn't have a strong enough reaction to me saying pretzel bun. And I feel like if you were a cultured man and you've had a pretzel bun, you would go, oh, God, pretzel bun's so good. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, maybe.
You should do that. I take you to a Cracker Barrel. You ever heard of Cracker Barrel?
No. I feel you're gonna be making shit up now. I wouldn't even know at this point.
I should just start saying things and just like see what I should have done is come up with a list of a couple different restaurants and like all of the names are fake except one. Or maybe the other way around, and I have you guess which one's a fake one. No, Cracker Barrel is a real place that is weird because it's super like Southern. It's like a breakfast spot. They probably do breakfast all day. They also have like other food. It's like Southern food. But also there's a gift shop there, and you have to go through the gift shop first.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. There's like random old timey stuff, and they're not old timey stuff, but like kind of old timey stuff. And just regular stuff.
There's stuff at the gift shop.
And yeah, there's stuff at it's stuff that you would find at a gift shop. I know that's like not very specific, but I feel like it's random gimmicky shit.
You'd be great in marketing.
Probably like Cowboys hats. I would be fantastic at marketing. Oh, what do you sell? We sell stuff.
It gets the job
What kind of stuff? I don't know. Stuff. Just come in, then you'll know. Yeah, you hit them with the mystery. Well, they had a lot of random shit.
Hit them with the mystery, but no intrigue.
Clothes. Yeah, it's all mystery, no intrigue. It's like, I'm curious, or it's like, I have no idea what's going on and I'm not curious about this. That would be perfect. Yeah, take you to a Waffle House at 2 a.m.
Oh yeah, I've heard
You'll
things about Waffle
you'll
House.
meet God there, or the devil, or both.
Good.
You might meet the devil and pray to God there. Maybe that's it.
Maybe the other way around.
Oh,
I will say one of my
Maybe.
favorite like conspiracy theories. I don't know if I mentioned this in the podcast before.
oh,
Well, it's a conspiracy theory of a thing I don't believe in. But say God and the devil
Okay.
are real. The Christian mythos
Sure.
is correct.
Uh-huh.
I find it a very, very fun thought that God is actually the evil one and he's just brainwashed people to think he's the good one and the devil's trying to
okay,
save
that is
us.
pretty funny. I kind of like that. That's kind of fun.
That's cool because like
It pisses people off.
it does piss people off, and I mentioned this to my religious friend, and he was like trying to defend it
How'd that
so
work?
hard. It's fine because we're both like relatively civil about it. But he keeps
Okay,
just trying to
that's
defend it, and one that I'm gonna get into a bit of religious hate here. It's not
Ooh.
everyone. Most people that are religious are completely fine.
Yeah, they're usually completely
There are some
normal, for the
people
most part.
that they let, and this is the same with a lot of things in life, not just religion.
Yeah.
But they let their emotional side take over like the logical side of things, and they'll say
Yep.
things that like just do not make any logical sense whatsoever,
Yeah.
or like they can't think critically about something. So I think one question I asked, so my friend said something along the lines of like God's influence, or like people that are religious is like there's a part of them as a goal or a need for them to like spread the religion, help to save people, because that's like what a lot of Christians want to do. They want to save people so that when the doomsday or whatever the hell they call it,
The apocalypse.
the
or
apocalypse
whatever.
come. There's a name that they call it. Can't remember.
Ragnarok.
Reckoning Day or something. When that comes, they can save as many people as they want. So he was like, it's a Christian's duty to like try to inspire people to believe in God, not necessarily force, not all of them, but to
Sure.
inspire people. So I then asked him the question. I'm like, okay, so if it's in your duty to help people see the light of God, and when people see the light of God, they believe in Him. Why is it over the years that the world is becoming more and more less religious? Like the number of atheists and agnostics in the world is just going up and up every year.
Yeah.
And he could like he came up with some sort of answer. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was just like it was an answer that like just didn't back up his claim in any way whatsoever. And it's sort of that thing like blind faith like will guide him eventually, whatever. I'm like, if God was genuinely, whether he's real, if God was genuinely real and wanted to save as many people as he wanted to, you would think that at least him or like some person would be able to make it blatantly obvious that there's a power and then you believe in them so you're saved. But that's not a thing that's happened. So either...
But Dan, God works in mysterious ways.
That's the fucking argument I hate so much. It's like, why?
I've always
though?
hated that too.
It's like, why does he need to work in mysterious ways? If he
Why
if
can't he?
This is like the logical paradox about like
Sure.
God that annoys me the most. It's like God cannot be all powerful and all good. He has to be one or the other, or
he's one or the other.
Because if he's all powerful and all good, then he would just make everyone not have diseases and
We
cancer.
wouldn't live the life that we
We
do.
will- like even I understand the argument is free will. If God was all
Sure.
good, even with free will, he wouldn't have all these negative things in the world. Because you
He
can,
would stop something like natural disasters
Yeah.
or like that kind of stuff.
because you can still have free will and not get cancer, because that's not a choice you've made. That's just something that's happened to you.
Yeah.
So either that or he's not all powerful, so he can't stop these things. Now, I'm not saying God isn't real or hating. I'm just saying like that part of
Sure.
the argument is very, very illogical and makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine if there's a higher power that just created us and left us to do whatever we wanted, and that's the situation. That's fine. But there's also, if that is the situation, there's no way to prove that the boy's there.
Yeah. Or girl.
Yeah. Like, I think religion is very fun when you look at it in like a fictional sense. That's why like Greek and Norse mythology is so
like
cool, dude.
Roman, Norse. That's the fun
sick.
stuff. I was talking to Alon about this. He's like, yeah, it's kind of annoying that like there are people that still believe in like Hinduism because it's so cool, but you can't really like
Make
tell
stories
it, like
about
a
it.
story a whole lot or
Exactly.
like really make fun of it because it's like a lot of people still believe in it and I don't know enough, so I'm not. And I mean, he's not ragging on the religion, I'm not ragging on the religion, but it's like Yeah, the like Greek and Norse and all that stuff. That's so cool because it's what I think. It's what I think gods would be more like, because it's like if you gave a bunch of power to someone, as we see in real life, they're gonna fuck around.
Yeah.
And they're gonna abuse that power, and they're probably not gonna be perfectly good. Most of them aren't.
I also think the idea of not one god, but a bunch of different gods that control different
like that
aspects.
more.
It's so much fucking
More
cooler,
interesting.
dude.
It's so much cooler.
Like having a god of the seas and then a god of the harvest and a god of
like
love.
rain.
Like it's such a cool like storytelling structure, because like that's what gods, like back in like the Norse mythology and like Greek mythology, that's what gods were. They were ways to explain natural phenomena that we didn't have the scientific know-how about. How do tsunamis happen? Poseidon was mad.
Poseidon's pissed.
And it's so much cooler than just like with the one singular god that controls everything, because there's not much like there's not much variety there. There's one dude.
Yeah.
Like, and like even with the Christian religion, I think I saw someone like make like a little short, like sort of like an anime style like short video of like Jesus's resurrection, all this stuff. It actually would be a sick story. Like low key, it goes pretty hard. But unfortunately, similar to Hinduism, because people still believe in it so much, you can't really make a story out of it, because people get annoyed if it's like wrong or people get offended.
I mean, you especially couldn't do it with Islam, because you're not supposed to depict Muhammad. That would go very poorly.
Yeah,
because I'm sure there are people who have tried and it's been like essentially shut down by like Muslim people.
Again, it's a reason why I love.
Which it's in their religion, so it's fair.
It's another reason why I love the Japanese religion, Shintoism. Very similar to like Norse and Hinduism, where they have like gods for different things. They have like the god of education, all this stuff. And they have like physical shrines all over Japan that are dedicated to different gods.
Yeah.
And people that still work at those shrines keep them like nice. You go there on New Year's and like get like prayers. But like people there don't actually, well, the majority of them don't actually believe the gods are real. It's more just like a nice little thing.
It's like a cultural thing more than it is like a religious
And they
thing.
also make stories around them. Like there's so many anime that's based around the gods in Japan. And the stories are so cool that they've made out of them. And I think that's what religion should be kept more to, like cool stories that teach you nice lessons. And if that's all it is, it would be so much nicer.
Yeah, but it's not like, I believe in this wholeheartedly. I don't know. I mean, I think we're both people that are really not religious. And I think there are other aspects of religion that people really like. I think the whole death thing. Religion brings a lot of comfort to people, because if you think that it all just ends,
using it for comfort,
that's depressing and existential.
Yeah, using it for comfort and like your own personal like well-being, I think is great. I think having your own personal connection to the spiritual realm or your gods or whatever is the best way to go about religion. I think I only get mad of it when it becomes organized and it's like this big like cult basically. That's the only time when it gets to me. Like I understand the community aspect of it, and like that's one thing people really love.
Sure,
but
like there are good aspects.
Obviously, they're good.
It's the culty.
It's the culty side of it, and like when wars are waged over religion and stuff.
That's crazy.
It's like that's when it's getting like, okay, you're killing tens of thousands of people over this being that like logically may or may not even be there. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy to think that like there's so many wars that are waged and like discrimination that happens between like Jewish people, Christians, and
Islam,
Muslims. It's like they all came from the same thing.
Yep.
They just branched off at different points, but like it all started with Judaism and then it branched off with Christianity and then branched off with Islam. I don't know. It's not like the same, but like they're all really similar.
It's basically the equivalent of when the American war against the British happened. It's like you're technically fighting yourself, but it's just like a different version of yourself. It's kind of. I know there's more nuance to it than.
I mean, there's more to it, and there's a good reason for it. But yes, it is like
it would make more sense if like Islam had beef with like Hinduism, because they're like completely different beliefs,
completely different ideologies,
completely different people.
And I am sure at a point
they do. I know.
I'm sure it's happened.
There is definitely beef, but
it definitely has.
It's nowhere near as big as those three, which is weird because they're like the most similar to each other.
Yeah, they all branch from the same thing. It's like, I mean, and they did fight too, but it's like Greeks and Romans. It's like Roman mythology is just Greek mythology. And obviously there's more to the fighting than just the religion. A lot of it is political and land gain and all that shit. But it's like
a lot of
when you're
politics
just
come from religion as well, which is the issue.
That is true. But it's when you prosecute someone, when a Christian prosecutes like a Jew or a Muslim or any other variation of that, it's like, you guys are like the same. I mean, you could say the same. We could just sum this up as this is a lot of issues, because you could say the same thing with racism of like, we're all the same.
Yeah, no,
just ever so slightly different.
I had this question on a stream a while ago, and someone asked me like, what's my biggest like pet peeve or like one thing I could change in the world? And the answer I came up with was like judging individuals based on groups they're in.
Yeah.
So it's like, just because someone is
prejudice,
it basically just prejudice. And like there are some situations where obviously it's bad. If the group is pedophiles, yes, all the pedophiles are bad. That's that's pretty clear. But like if you're I see this on TikTok now so much because of the war with Palestine and Israel.
Yeah.
Just because you are Jewish doesn't mean you should like die because of the conflict in Israel. There's a lot of people that are Jewish 100%. That don't side with them, or like just don't have any opinion on it, and that's fine.
There are plenty of like Orthodox like rabbis who are like, yeah, no, I stand with Palestine. Like, it's what's happening in Gaza is horrible. And it's like, because the thing is what's going on over there. Yeah, there's religion is probably involved to some degree, but if you're saying like, oh, Islam needs to stop fighting Palestine, that's not saying I hate all Jews. Those are not the same sentence.
A lot of people people just like cluster it together and don't have any sort of critical thinking. It's ridiculous.
There are people who are stupid enough that equate them, and they're not.
Yeah.
And there's also some people who are pro-Israel and go, oh, so you're against Israel? Oh, so you're against Jews? Okay, Nazis. And it's like, that's not what's going on here. No. These are two very different
I think
things.
It's the all statement. I'm like I'm a big bitch for semantics, and I get really annoyed when semantics aren't used correctly. So like it's like the same thing when like this comment's gonna make me sound like a fucking Andrew Tate stan or something, but like when like this is the best example I can come up with top of my head. When like you see like a woman talk about like all men are bad, or like all cops are bad, whatever.
Yeah.
I understand they use that just because, like, you know, you don't know who's going to be bad, so it's easy to say that.
Yeah.
It's just the word "all" that really pisses me off. Because, like, just say like most or some. It's so easy to like switch that word. It's just that really annoys me, because it's like it's not all. And when you say all, even if you don't mean that, there's going to be a lot of people that do take that to heart. There's going to be like when someone says, all male teenagers are evil and will rape and kill. Obviously, we all know that's not the case.
That's not the case.
But even if there are like 1% of male teenagers who are like depressed and have mental issues and are maybe on the edge of doing something bad, a statement like that could be the thing that tip them over, and they could think like, oh, if that's what people think about me, that's what I'm gonna be. And it ends up being a negative cycle that if you keep continuing saying bad things about people that may not be true, those bad things are going to continue to happen. It's the same issue with like the school gun violence in America. Like if you say like boys always resort to violence when they're in a bad situation, and they always hear that day after day after day, or you keep calling them a weirdo, something might happen because you're pressuring them.
Yeah. If you keep telling them all you guys do is violence, you go, well, I guess my solution to this is violence.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. Like it's the argument for like gun owners with like mass shootings.
Yep.
I'm here for gun restrictions. I'm not here for completely banning guns. A, it will never happen in America. And B, there are countries where you can own guns and it's completely fine.
Yep.
And most gun owners in America are responsible. The problem is we need to find the way of cutting out the irresponsible ones, which is a more thorough check and more regulations on guns. But it's like, all people that own guns are not mass murderers. Most people with guns have never killed anyone or hell have killed anything, because obviously people hunt, but some people just shoot at targets.
Yeah, like you can own guns in Australia with a proper license and registrations, but because there's so many more steps to do it, it's more difficult to get them. Which means
the issue is I think twofold. Is that it's a lot easier in the States. I also think there's a decent amount of like guns that are sold illegally because there are people that want to get around any amount of regulation and or they sell them illegally because they modify them outside of like regulation. But yeah, I think so. I was watching the VP debate, which was interesting. It was a lot better than the other debate. Because, like, relatively speaking, both candidates sounded like human beings, which is weirdly refreshing.
Yeah.
And it's what it just should be. But it's like any debate with Trump is just like, I'm better at golf. My golf score is so low. And my hit is huge. Like, he's just a fucking character.
I love it.
So not a good way of. He's so entertaining, and like that's what he is. He's an entertainer. He's not a fucking politician. He should have never been in politics.
Yep.
But I watched the VP debate, and I think JD Vance, who's the Republican, God, he said something where he was like 90% of guns, that were used in mass shootings were illegally bought. And then I think I Google searched and it said 10%. And I was like, nice. Yeah, that's completely. I think most of them. I think a lot of them comes from parents who own guns that then their kids take and then shoot up a school. Yeah. And it's like the parents don't really store them properly or like hide them. Like they're just like in a chest or, you know, around the house somewhere.
Yeah, that's another thing that really annoys me is when statistics are used incorrectly. And it just makes a completely wrong statement. I don't know if I mentioned this in a podcast again or just to you or something, but it's like the whole divorce rate thing. The myth of like the 50% of divorces happen when it's not 50% of marriages that end in divorce. Well, no, it is 50% of marriages that end in divorce, but it doesn't take...
It's not 50% of people.
Exactly. It doesn't take into account that one person can get divorced like 20 times, which I think the record's like 27. So that one person has accounted for so many divorces. And it also doesn't take into account, I think death counts as divorce in these situations. It's like anyone that dies.
Does it really?
I think so.
I feel like it can. Does it really?
I think in that famous...
Well, because feasibly then every marriage ends in divorce. I think
in the famous statistic that's like 50% end in divorce, what they did is they took the amount of marriages in a certain year in the US and the amount of divorces in that same year, which first of all makes no sense because the people getting married that year are not the people getting divorced. It could be because if a couple that was married for 40 years then gets divorced, that counts as the same as someone who got married and a month later got divorced, which is just not the same.
Which is not the case.
If you were married to your girlfriend for 40 years and then you got divorced, would you say that was a successful marriage?
Probably. I mean, like, probably not towards the end.
Yeah, but like, that's a pretty good chunk of time.
To be fair, true, you can be married for 40 years and it could be a bad marriage.
True. That's another thing. It also doesn't take into account unhappy totally marriages.
Right. Yeah, and like some people get married and then years later they're like, we're just not right for each other. Yeah. And it's like an amicable divorce.
Exactly.
It also doesn't account for like how many of these people are getting divorced at potentially really young age and then go, no, I'm not doing this. Or they're repeat offenders, divorcees.
Yeah, so like I said,
what they just marry everyone.
What they did was they took the number of marriages that year, number of divorces that year, and compared it, and it was like 50%.
Which is not at all the same.
So and then someone went back and they even did the statistics from that year wrong because someone went back and did that same math, the same set of data. It was actually more like 35%. Even with the shitty data set.
Which is significantly lower.
Yeah. And I also think, like you were saying before, there are other things like, if you get married before like 25, you have a way higher divorce rate than if you get married after 25. Or like if
there's so many
if you get married within 1 year of meeting someone, it's a way less chance of it working.
Yeah, it's like, how long did you know them before getting married? How old were you before getting married? There's like so many things where like, if you narrow it down to where a lot more successful marriages end up being and a lot more longer marriages, it's like, oh, I just need to hit these criteria, which is like, I don't know, I date them for 5 months or for 5 years.
Yep.
Not 5 months.
I date them
for 5 years and we live together before we get married, and we're like late 20s, early 30s when we get married, and it's like, oh, the success rate's significantly higher. Yep. Sweet.
There's also, I see this so much on Reddit and other things. There are so many people that get married and they don't ever talk about like, oh, do you want to have kids? And then after they get married, they're like, one person doesn't, one person does, and they have to get divorced. I'm like, what the fuck did you talk about?
How do you not talk? I had conversations with my girlfriend about like real life shit before we even started dating, and they just happened to come up. But it's like we talked about, we're like, yeah, so like live with them before marriage, and I went, yeah, 100%, you have to live with them because you can, if you, because here's the deal, I've lived with people who like I'm great friends with, and it's like I'm still really good friends with them. But living with someone and being friends with someone is two different things. You can love the person as a friend and be like, I would never live with them.
Yeah.
Because people have different living styles, and that's completely fine. But if you're marrying someone, you gotta know that you can at least compromise on things that live together.
Yep, for sure. And it's also like, just in general, it's like, yeah, like I went on, when I was seeing this girl for like a few weeks, I think like second or third date, we'd already been talking about like kids and stuff, just because it's a nice thing to know early on, just in case it works out. Because like if you get like 12 months into a relationship and then you're like, oh, and it's like very serious, and one person's like, oh, I want kids, the other person doesn't, or like, oh, I'm planning to move to Jamaica in a month, do you want to come with or something? It's like,
that's important.
You should probably figure these things out before. It's like general like big life goals. The reason why I broke up with my ex like 3 years ago, or she broke up with me, whatever, 3 years ago, among other things, there was like a lot of life stuff that wasn't lining up. Like she was religious, I wasn't. She was vegetarian, I wasn't. And like it was just enough different things that like it didn't make sense to like
didn't work
continue out. And that's fine. But you should probably,
and that's the stuff you find out before marriage.
Exactly.
Before there's legal documents that make it difficult.
That's why when I see like people who are like 20, 21 getting married, I'm like, if you're genuinely happy with the person, there's not an issue with marriage, but I just don't think it's very smart. Because like, it's just, for me, it's like getting married later is less risk. It's just risk aversion. I don't want to have to go through divorce and all these proceedings and all this shit. I'd much
23.
rather, I'd much rather,
like, that's crazy.
I'd much rather date someone for 5 years and be absolutely sure this is the right person than date someone for 2 years and get married on a whim.
I especially think the difference of like, look, you can be 21 and you're like, I am absolutely 100% sure of this. I still feel like just because you're sure of how you feel about that person, your life changes so much within that period of time. Like, when I was at the end of college and I wasn't dating my girlfriend yet, and I was like 21 or like 20 and 21, I hit a point where like I was a senior in college, and I was like, oh yeah, I couldn't date like a freshman or really even like a sophomore. It like felt weird. Obviously, like legally it was fine. It was, they were 18 and 19 year olds, but it was like the difference between a freshman and a senior in college, like maturity wise, massive difference. You go through so much life things, and sometimes like you'll find a freshman that's more mature than a senior and vice versa. But it's like you start talking to them and you're like, we're just different.
It's
not
like
even
all
on a personality level.
It's not like all freshmen are super immature, but like the majority of them just have different life experiences than you do. And the same difference can be found between like a 24-year-old and a 29-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, even like, I think the older you get, the more it spreads out how much change there is in a period of time. But even like from how old I am to when I was 21, there was so much growth and change, and like you start a career and you live on your own and you pay bills and you do all this shit that like,
I think once you get past like 25, and if you've been working a job and living by yourself or like with roommates or a partner, I think that's sort of the age where you start to get to like the basically height of maturity of where you need to be for like most of the rest of your life, because that's sort of when the brain stops developing. 25 as well.
Yes. And to be fair, people mature for decades. But again, I mean, that's the moral of today's podcast is we live in a gray world and not black and white. And I think that's a lot of problem with media, is a lot of times they don't.
It's all black and white.
It's all black and white because black and white is just easier to convey, and it's easier to get people riled up and agree with you or disagree with you. But yeah, by like 25, the difference between a 25-year-old and a 29-year-old is not as big as like a 21-year-old or a 22-year-old to an 18-year-old. Like it's insane. Like I work with people who are younger than me. I work with people who are older than me. And like, I don't feel that different from like I don't feel as far from some of the like 30-year-olds as I do from like the 18-year-olds.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's also similar to like the not black and white thing. It's also not just an age thing. If you're 28,
Yeah.
but you've been in university that whole time and you've never worked a job and you still live at home with your parents, you're going to be a lot less mature than someone who's 23 but's been working since they were 18 and out on the job market and living alone. Most likely.
Oh, trust me, I work with people who are like multiple years older than me. Who like I'll find out. I'm like, I'll sit here and I'm like, oh, they got to be like my age or like younger, and it's like, oh no, they're like 30. Oh, fuck. Like this person, and then you'll have the opposite. You'll look at someone and you're like, you got to be like 18 or something. They're like, no. They're like, you gotta be like 21. They're like, no, I'm like 18. I'm like, damn, you're actually like relatively mature.
Yeah.
Like it all varies. Yeah, you definitely find 30-year-olds and people in their 30s. I mean, you find people of all ages who you're like, you're not an adult.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And then you find people who are young and you're like, wow, you really fucking mature for your age.
That's like one thing with both relationships, but also like close friendships. I feel like you really need to have a similar level of maturity to your friends to like be very close to them. Like me, you, and Alana, I feel like we're all like very around the same level of maturity in like most aspects. Like there's obviously differences here and there.
Which there should be differences to some degree.
Yeah, but like
Always,
it's very difficult to become friends with someone who is just like so much more immature than you. Like there's people I've met in real life where like on first meeting they seem fine, but then over time you notice things they do or say or thoughts they have. I'm just like, I just can't be friends with this person anymore.
You're like, oh, I can't hang out with you. Where you're like, oh, you just don't understand real life.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's like pretty bad at points for some people. It's like, oh, this is, oh no.
No, there's people I talk to and I'm like, to some degree, there are moments where I'm like, God, I feel so fucking old. I'll be like, oh, I'm looking at my retirement savings. I mean, it's going to benefit me eventually.
Yeah,
but
of course.
But like to some degree, I'm like, I'm 23 and I'm worried about my fucking Roth IRA.
Well, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing to worry about. Yeah, I am.
If you have the ability to save and you're not saving before like 25, you got to take a look at yourself, man. You need to
start saving. And like, I mean, it's not necessarily in the cards for everyone.
That's why I said the ability to save. Like if you're making like 10K a month and you're not saving it, you're a fucking idiot.
10K a month? Fuck, if you're making 3K a month, 4K.
I'm just saying that because I know there's like a lot of like influencers and stuff that will just like buy like watches and cars and shit. I'm like, it may seem fun in the meantime, but when you're 60, you're going to be regretting it.
Yeah. Yeah. God, I saw something and it was some celebrity or some like athlete and I can't remember who it was. And he was like, yeah, I try to help my kids out, but like, I'm not just going to like spoon feed them. He's like, yeah, my kid was trying to start a business and I was willing to give him like $1 million loan and he just like didn't take it or something like that. And I'm like, what the fuck?
The hell?
Or I think he was saying he was giving his kid like 10K a month to like help him with just finance stuff. And like he was super rich. So it was like 10K a month isn't necessarily a lot. And I think a lot of times I hear that and I go, oh man, that's like this fucking privileged kid. But hearing it from the parent perspective feels so different because it's like, oh, it's a parent still trying to help their kid out. But the kid was like, I need more money. 10K a month is so much fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, you don't have to. I don't make that much. I don't make anywhere near that much. I would love 10K a month. Dan, can you give me 10K a month?
I wouldn't have any fucking money left, but sure.
Can I have it?
No.
Pretty please. Ah, man. Shit, I thought I had you.
I thought
I was slowly whittling you down. Yeah. I started too high. I should have just said like $1,000.
Yeah, that would be more reasonable.
That would have worked. I should have started with that.
Yeah. But
I've lost my chance now.
I just like, people buying stupid shit is like the way some people are with money just baffles me at times.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's listening to this. But one of my friends here in Australia, this is just one thing that happened recently that I was just like, I just don't understand his thought process on it. So we're buying Green Day tickets because they're coming to Australia in March or May or something.
Oh, hell yeah. Who was touring with them?
I did not check.
I'm just curious because I saw Green Day recently, and I'm curious if it's the same people.
It might be. Oh, I'll search up while
Okay.
talking. So yeah, they're coming to Australia next year, and we're like, we're going to buy some Green Day tickets.
Yeah.
So we kept asking. So like, there's 4 of us, and 3 of us were good to go. And he's like, give me time. I don't have money at the moment because he gets paid on a 2 weekly basis, and he doesn't have a
Sure. Yeah. I do too.
like he doesn't get enough where he can just splurge like 200 Australian dollars on Green Day tickets straight away.
Fair enough.
But as a seasoned veteran of concerts at this point, I was telling him like, hey, if we wait too long, the prices are just going to keep going up and up.
That is true.
So if you want to spend the least amount of money possible, buy them now. We'll pay for you, and then you can pay us back. Because if we're going to buy it as a group anyways,
That's what I
one
do.
person has to buy it anyways, and then you got to
Yeah.
pay me back.
Yeah.
So I was like, the tickets are going to go up. It's better to buy them now. And even then, it took him like a few more days to decide. When I saw him in person, I think I finally just convinced him like the tickets are going to be more expensive. And then he was like, okay, I'm ready. I'll
Yeah.
pay you guys right now. And I didn't message after that, but I was thinking like, dude, you don't have to pay us right now. You can literally just pay us when you have the money. It's
Yeah.
not that big of a deal at the end of the day.
yeah.
So it's just like little things like that. It's like struggling to see the bigger picture of finances sometimes. It's like you can spend less money in this scenario, but because it seems too far away or too like mysterious or something, you would rather pay more. It's like the same sort of like mindset as like, oh, this item's on sale, so I'm gonna buy it because I'm saving money. But if it wasn't on sale, you weren't gonna buy it, so you're technically still just wasting more
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. See, sales get you because they look at you and you go, oh man, it's such a good price, but you were never gonna buy it. But the way to do it is when you sit there and you stew for a while and you're like, man, I should buy this. And then it comes on sale, then you're the one winning there. But it's that you were but I mean, they typically get you on sales in the sense of they're still making profit on it, but they also go, you weren't gonna buy this.
Yep.
Now you are buying this. So instead of making $0, we are still making some amount of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh. Yeah. Man, Cracker Barrel just really got us on a tangent.
Oh, is that where that started?
I don't know. We got to religion, and I know we were talking about Cracker Barrel beforehand, and I don't know what the in between was.
Who knows? Who's touring for Green Day with you?
Well, I've already seen it, but it was Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas.
Okay, no.
I don't know if they were actually there.
AFI is coming.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Yeah, A Fire Inside.
Is it just them?
I think so.
Huh. Wait, is AFI?
Seems like it's just them, yeah.
I know like one song from them.
I don't think I know any. Oh, well.
I think. Did they have Miss Murder? Is that the song? That the AFI song?
I don't know.
I'm letting. Yeah, it's a Miss. You probably know it.
Maybe.
Well, I'll listen to it later.
I will. So speaking about, because I mentioned it a few times in the podcast already, PAX,
Oh yeah.
gaming convention, or
Oh yeah.
gaming
convention.
gaming tech, like it's I don't know what it has a bunch of different shit. It's a gaming cultural festival including tabletop, arcade, video games,
Oh.
bunch of
Oh,
other
that's
cool
fun.
stuff. So I went there last year,
Yeah.
and I went
Nice.
there again on Friday. It's a 3-day thing,
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I only went Friday.
Okay. Nice.
So first thing I just want to mention, you went to Comic-Con last year?
Oh god. Yeah, I went to the Denver Comic Con this summer.
Right. So
Yes.
oh, and I'm gonna come in swinging hard.
Oh, okay.
I hate that the stereotype is true, but genuinely within 30 seconds of walking into the expo hall, the stench was just poignant.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I will say I
Why do they?
got a bad sniffer.
I have a
so it's hard for
I have
me
a
to
really
say.
good sense of smell, which makes it so much worse for me.
Oh, I'm sorry for you.
Dude, I don't even like, I don't want to hate on people. Like, with genuinely within 30 seconds of getting into the actual like expo area, I could just smell so much body
Yeah.
odor. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like, hey,
It is ridiculous, isn't it?
like we talked about in the last podcast, I'm not ashamed to say if I'm staying at home by myself and I'm lazy, I might go a few days without a shower.
That's at home by yourself, though.
Exactly. If I'm going out, I'm going to be around people at fucking
deodorant
at
on.
fucking minimum.
Put
You put
deodorant
deodorant on.
That's all we're
Or you
asking.
should at least shower before you go, which I did this time because I'm around people. But
Yeah.
like it's insane, like how true that stereotype is.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous.
I couldn't smell anyone that smelled bad. Also, when I went, they were pumping the AC. Like it was actually kind of cold in there, and it was like middle of the summer.
Right.
To be fair, that's super nice for all the people who are cosplaying and like,
Yeah.
you know, aren't wearing shorts and a t-shirt. You
That's the other thing. If it's like if I go at like 4 or 5 p.m. and people have been in there for hours and sweating, it's more understandable. I went in
beginning of the
basically when the
day.
doors open at like 10 a.m.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
because I was by the end I was sweating because it gets pretty hot in those places. Thousands of people. There wasn't that much AC at this one. It's Australia. It's hot. Like I was sweating by the end of it, and I was only in a t-shirt and shorts, so I can only
Sure.
imagine the people in like cosplay and shit. So that's understandable. But within the first hour, I should not be smelling sewage when walking through the hall.
Just put deodorant on.
Please, please. It's not
Yeah,
that
dude.
difficult, man. I think like I went
It's
with
really not.
I went with 2 friends, my friend and his brother, and he brought deodorant with him. I'm like, that's a good man right there.
That's smart.
Very
That's
smart.
a good man. Yeah. Reapplying. Yeah.
Get some
It takes you
antiperspirants. Put it on in the
20
morning.
seconds to put deodorant on. If that, 10 seconds.
Yeah. No, it's just kind of ridiculous how bad it is.
So at PAX, when I went to Comic-Con, that's like what you would imagine Comic-Con would be like.
Mhm.
You know, there's a bunch of artists selling their work. There's a bunch of companies selling things that you can buy that feels slightly more commercial.
Mhm.
And then there's like actors and celebrities and like kind of nerd culture people that come in and they do panels and they do pictures. And then there's just a bunch of people in cosplay walking around, and there's little like corners where there's little events going on and people are selling food.
Yeah.
What's PAX look like?
So pretty similar in most of the different things. There's not, I wouldn't say there's like big celebrities that come, at least not that I've noticed.
Sure.
There's like YouTubers that come there. So like Dark Viper, the GTA creator that I
Yeah.
did a video with like a year ago, pretty big in the scene. He always comes, 'cause obviously being in Australia, it makes sense. He did a meet and greet thing on like Saturday. I didn't go Saturday, I didn't see him. But he was there.
Oh, okay.
You know the YouTuber Pyrocynical?
It sounds familiar.
Decently big
But I-
YouTuber. He always
Okay.
comes and does like a panel there. Another big YouTuber, Lachlan. He has like 15 mil subs. Big Australian
Oh
YouTuber.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. The Fairbairn guy.
Don't think
Yeah,
so.
it's him and his brother.
Is it?
Yeah, it's him and his brother.
No,
Right?
no, that's not them. I know who you're talking about, not them.
Isn't his name also Lachlan?
It is Lockie.
Okay,
This
that's
Lachlan,
confusing.
big like Fortnite creator. He used to do Minecraft. I think.
Okay.
He's in like a lot of
Okay.
like the Sidemen videos. I think he might have been in a few Mr. Beast videos. Do you know Laserbeam? Okay. Very big Australian
Sorry.
creator. Laserbeam wasn't there, but Lachlan, he either owns or co-owns a company, like a gaming brand called Power, PWR. So like they had like a whole like dodgeball event going on there.
Oh, that's
Wait,
fun.
it was like indoor like digital dodgeball. So like the floor was either like LCD or had lights on it, and the zone would shrink as people played and stuff.
okay, that's
So
really
like that was
cool.
in a corner. In the back hall, there's like a shit ton of like tabletop games. So you have like D&D, a bunch of card games you can play with other
Nice.
people. They have old consoles you can
Nice.
play on. I got to play with the Steam Deck for a bit because it's coming to Australia in a few months.
Ooh, nice.
So you have a lot of booths from like gaming companies. Like obviously Steam was there. I think Nintendo was there. I think Bethesda had like a lounge outside. A bunch of different companies. There's like an indie zone where there's like a bunch of indie developers with their games you can go and
Yeah.
play for a bit.
That's pretty sweet.
I don't think there's many like individual artists there, but there's like a section where there's a bunch of things you can buy. So you can buy like comic
Sure.
books, manga, some art.
Nice.
You can buy some
Oh, what do we got?
swords.
Woo!
So I bought 3 last year, and they were like 3 of Zoro's swords from One Piece.
Is it real?
It's like hard
Is it
plastic foam.
Okay.
So it's not gonna.
It's not one of those like $1,000
no,
swords.
no. So this I got I
Okay.
got 3, and they were 110 Australian dollars in all. So it's pretty decent.
Okay.
So this is
So it's like it's good quality, but it's not like a legitimate
it's nice to like
sword.
display, and it's like it has a decent enough weight to it that you can swing it around, but it's not gonna kill anyone.
Okay.
So like this is one of
Sure.
Geralt's sword from The Witcher,
Oh, nice.
which is pretty cool.
very cool.
And then I got Geralt's other sword from The Witcher.
Nice.
And then
Let me guess. Another one of Geralt's swords from The Witcher.
no, he only has two. This one
Oh.
is the other sword
That
from
makes
One
sense.
Piece that I didn't get last time because it wasn't there.
Oh,
So
cool.
Zoro, I think in the series has like 6 swords throughout or so, but there's like 4 main ones he has. I have 3
Yeah.
behind. You can see them on the camera. The audience
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
see them,
yeah.
but I have 3 there. There's a
Oh,
black, a red, and a
yeah.
white one. And then this one is the
Yeah.
purple one. So I got this because it was here this time. So
Oh, cool. I was wondering if it
it's pretty cool. Yeah,
unsheathed.
it does.
That's pretty sweet.
So yeah, I got those. There's a bunch of other stuff you can get as well. Like, there's a bunch of like Pokemon plushies and like, and you can get like
Yeah.
you can get like buildable, like not Legos, but like Gundams and like other cool stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really expensive anime figures, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, because anime figures are expensive as shit.
Yeah.
But that's cool. You obviously have like food stores. You can get like hot dogs, chips, Mexican stuff all along the side. And then there are panels. Like there are panels like I think more so than like celebrities, you get like game developers coming and like people like that to talk about the industry. So you get like voice actors that will come on and do like a panel on like the voice acting industry.
Oh, that's cool.
There'll be a few universities that come there and like try and promote their gaming degrees or game development degrees. And then cosplay is also a massive thing in PAX because I think PAX is the
Yeah.
biggest sort of event in like biggest con in Australia. So you get a lot of
Okay.
cosplayers. So like there was a guy cosplaying as Jesus. There was a guy cosplaying as Eggman, and he was
Nice.
not the fat Eggman, like the Jim Carrey like slim version of him.
Oh, okay.
And there was
yeah.
a dance game there. It wasn't DDR, but it was some other sort of dance game, and he was going crazy
nice.
on there. Like he had a whole crowd around him. He was like pulling off the moves. He was fucking killing it. But you
Big
see,
ups to Eggman.
yeah, big ups to Eggman. You see obviously a lot of like anime characters there.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's basically like Comic-Con, but more like tech gaming oriented rather than like
Okay.
comic book movie oriented.
Comic book, but yeah.
It's a really cool event. I think if I was either a bigger creator, because I didn't tweet about it, I probably maybe would have seen fans if I did mention I was going, but fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm too socially awkward. It's not because I hate you.
Hell yeah.
If I was either
It's
bigger,
no, it's because he no. It's because he hates you specifically.
Yeah.
No one else. He likes every one of his other fans, but you, the listener, right now, hates you.
Mhm, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I was either that or I was more of like a social person, this just makes me sound like a dickhead. But if I was like more of a person that went to the cons to like meet friends and like do cool stuff cosplay wise, it would be really cool. For me, I kind of just go there with my friend, look around at a bunch of stuff, and like I said, tried out the Steam Deck for a bit and just look around, and that's kind of it. But it is a cool event, and I would probably benefit from talking to people more, but I am socially awkward. So,
Hell yeah.
and also
You
again,
can just talk to me once every 2 weeks.
sure, and not to hate again, not to rag on the people that go there, but you do get a lot
Because
of.
you're one of them.
I am technically. You do get a lot of like fedora personality types that go there.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You get the neck beards.
You get the neck beards, and like
You get the
a lot
incels.
of
You also get a lot of cool people.
You do get a lot of cool people, but a lot of like the neckbeard type, they are nice. They are trying to be friendly. Like I was talking to my 2 friends. We were like in conversation, like very clearly. And
Yeah.
this solo guy just comes up and just starts talking to us about random things, and he has like the whittly voice a little bit.
Widowy.
Whittly, like he had like that type of voice, and I was like, I didn't want to be mean or anything, so we did entertain him a tad, but like we were like facing in towards each other talking, and he was like on the outside just trying
He
to like
just
get
like
in.
inserts himself.
Yeah, I was like, I understand trying to make friends at a con and everything, but you sort of need to read the situation.
read the room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there was quite a bit of that. Like when I was buying the swords, my other friends were waiting for a meet and greet that I didn't care about, so I was leaving and getting the swords.
Mm-hmm.
And like some guy was talking to me there, like asked me like what I'm planning on buying and everything. That's fine. That's chill.
Yeah.
And that's a good time to do it. But like, yeah, the time and place. I guess
When there's 3 people in a circle having a conversation and you have to butt into the circle.
yeah.
And when like yeah. It's also, I feel like you get like 1 or 2 sentences in, and if you can tell the people don't want
Exactly.
to talk to you, dip.
You know,
get out.
He was
and that's
there.
fine.
He was there for like a solid 3 minutes trying to keep talking.
Mm.
And he also didn't speak very loudly, and I was on like the furthest part away from him, so I couldn't really hear him that well. So it was kind of difficult to like hear what he was saying and reply and everything.
You don't care enough to be like, wait, what did you say?
Yeah. So it was
But you also don't want to stare blankly at him.
it was like if you're more confident and more loud and egregious, you can probably get in because then you lead the conversation. But it was like they came in, tried to ask us questions that we couldn't really hear, and then we had to like talk back to this person we didn't really want to. It was like, it's like I'm not mad at them. I just kind of feel bad.
Yeah,
Just a bit like,
you're like, I don't hate you. I don't want to talk to you right now.
yeah,
I mean, it's also sometimes when people go out, sometimes they enjoy socializing with new people, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And if someone doesn't want to socialize with you, it's not that they hate you. It's that they just don't want to socialize with new people.
And I'm very much that type of person that like especially if I'm with friends, like I kind of just want to speak to my friends. That's why I'm there.
Yeah.
Like maybe if I'm at like a bar or something and like drinking with the boys and like another group comes over, like if I'm in the right mood maybe, but like yeah, I don't know.
I'm kind of the same way usually. And I feel like bars are turning more into this where it's like people just want to go out and drink with their friends and not necessarily socialize with other people. I just want to go drink with my friends and like play pool. And look, if other people come up to us and they're like, hey, can we play you in pool? And I'm like, I'm going to be like, sure. And I'm going to have conversation. I still just want to talk to my friends.
Yeah.
But that's also just me.
I guess like in the places like PAX and Comic-Con, like I think the best place to like meet people is like one, if you're doing cosplay, you go to the cosplay room and like talk to people. That's pretty chill. Or like like I said, they have like tabletop games that you can literally go play board games with other people and just join into random matches.
And that is a social event that you can go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And it's also like, I feel like if you are at a cosplay, it's fun if people come and be like, oh my God, that's so cool. But usually you end it there unless you want to talk to people.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe they'll ask questions. But I feel like you get like half and half where someone just goes, oh my God, that's so cool. You're like, thank you. And then they leave. Yeah. And there's some people who are like,
they just keep going. I feel like if you're both,
this is so cool.
If you're both in
cosplay, talk about this.
If you're both in cosplay, I think it's fine because you can ask them about like, oh my God, how did you make that? How much did it cost? Like, how long you been doing this? But if it's like you're a non-cosplayer going up to a cosplayer, you're pretty much like, hey, that's cool. Maybe you take a photo, and then you should probably dip a little bit.
Yeah.
I know it's one of those things I struggle with this a bit as well. I've never struggled with it, but it's like sometimes it's difficult to read how you need to fit into certain social situations. So like for me, sometimes I struggle with like trying to figure out the level of friendly I should be with like not strangers, but like people I see like on a regular-ish basis.
Like acquaintances?
Like someone like you see like the same person at like the same like security guard at the shopping mall every single time, and you go there often enough that they definitely recognize you. It's like what level of like friendly conversation or not should I be giving to these people at all times? And obviously if you're a very, very friendly person, very outgoing, it's going to be constant. I am not that. When I'm outside of my apartment by myself, I'll usually have headphones in and just want to get my shit done and go back home.
Yeah, if I'm going to the grocery store, I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah, so there's a security guard at my place I see all the time, and he's a nice guy. But like most time I just kind of just want to buy my stuff and leave. So, but when I came back with the swords, he asked about the swords, had like a quick little 10-second conversation, then dipped, and that was fine. But now I'm scared. Like next time I go down, do I need to speak to him again, or can I just fuck off?
Yeah, is this a regular thing? I feel that with like Uber drivers.
Oh God,
they like if they talk to you a little bit, you're like, do I do the two? So I got some work on my car done today. And it was going to take a while, so the dealership was like, "Oh, we'll pay for your Uber like back to your house." And I was like, "Sweet." And the first one talked to me a little bit, and then they both didn't really talk to me a whole lot, which was good. But just what they had on the radio was so funny because I'm pretty sure one guy was playing like it had to either have been like Japanese or anime music, which it wasn't very loud, so it was fine. That's why I say I'm not sure. And then the second guy, actually playing relatively loudly, was just playing some like political talk show host on like Amazon Prime. And I was like, that's a bold move for an Uber. Like I understand like it's what you want to listen to, but I don't know. I like to play music at work, and I always try and curate the music so that it feels right for like the vibe of the restaurant.
Yep.
I'm not playing weird shit when customers are in there.
No.
I feel like it should be the same as an Uber driver, but I almost wonder if as an Uber driver, you just do it so many times, you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to listen to what
I will say, I have had a few Uber drivers where like their music was so good, I pause my own and just listen to their stuff.
Okay, that's pretty good.
which is pretty sick. Like,
Look, it's kind of nice when that happens.
like I got into an Uber like years ago at this point, and they were just playing like Linkin Park. And it's like, oh yeah, this shit slaps. Let's go.
You're like, yeah, I gotta turn this on. Yeah.
But this is gonna sound so privileged. I don't take Ubers that often, by the way. Maybe like
Sure.
once a month or so if I need to go somewhere far away. Because
Yeah.
I just either walk or use public transport.
Mhm.
But I every single time I get an Uber now, I pay like a few dollars extra for like the premium one. So you can set your conversation preference, and I always set the conversation preference as quiet, so I just don't have to talk to them
Nice.
every time without fail. Because
I mean, honestly, it's great.
I've had too many experiences where like they just want to keep talking, and I'm like, I get into the Uber with headphones on and I have them up somewhat loud. So when they start trying to talk to me, I can't hear them first. I have to go like, sorry, what was that? And like, it's like, do I need to pause my music because they're gonna keep talking, or is it just gonna be like a hello?
Or do I put it back in because they're done?
Yeah. And sometimes, and this is an experience that I do somewhat miss about doing the conversation quiet preference now, is I've had it maybe 3 or 4 times over the years where I'd be talking to an Uber driver and they definitely lean one way politically and they start talking about things. And what I like to do is I just like to agree with everything they say and see how far they go. Because it's really, really
That is
funny.
pretty
So I was
good.
talking to some...
Because it's like the nice thing is you're only in that drive for like however long,
Yeah.
and then you're out of it and you'll never see them again.
So it's really funny to push them. So like there was one guy I was getting, he was talking about like how much he hates the royal family, which honestly is kind of fair. But I just like wanted to just keep seeing how far he goes in like that direction. So he was talking about the royal family. And I think this was just after the Queen died and he was like glad about it. I was like, okay. And then he went on to like the Australian politics and the American politics. And it just kept getting like worse and worse. And I was like,
You
this is
kept
fun.
like yes-ending him.
Pretty much,
You're like,
yeah.
yeah, give me more.
yeah.
Give me more. That's fun.
And there was another guy that was talking about like the university system and like saying that I can't remember it was something definitely bad about it, but I think he's basically saying like how university is completely useless, like and it's just a scam to get your money, which with some degrees I agree with, but some others no. But it's just really funny seeing like these Uber drivers or just like people you meet briefly
Who have they've never seen you or talked to you before,
Just
and they're
see
like,
their
I'm gonna
opinions.
give you some hard cuts here.
Yeah, tell me your life story. I had another Uber driver that he was like suddenly flexing because he was like, "Yeah, I managed to buy this like really big house, like 7-bedroom house in like this suburb in Australia, but I'm only there for like 2 months a year because I live in England. The other years and like travel around, and he's driving an Uber. I'm like, what the? If you're this rich, why are you
You
driving
kind
an
of
Uber?
sit there and go, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah, I was really confused. I was like, what? You're just like, and he was
I
like,
was like, I mean,
he was young
could
as well.
make good
He was like
money on Uber, but
25,
not-
26.
oh, so trust fund.
Probably. But he was just like driving Uber around,
Like-
flexing that he goes on holiday and has this like big like mansion
Trust
house that he
fund.
got. He got apparently 50% off because of some situation,
Trust
which I'm sure
fund.
was just daddy did something.
Trust fund.
But I was like, I don't care. What's going on?
Yeah, stop talking to me.
And he's like,
Yeah,
if I'm ever back in, you want to come around? I'm like, I'm good.
No,
No.
I'm just drive me to where I need to
Yeah, I
go,
know, right?
please. No, you just gotta flex on Uber drivers, and when they talk to you, you just gotta like, I don't know how to do it like where it's really visually obvious, but you just gotta turn up your music. But they gotta know that
Yeah.
you're turning up your music. It's gotta be so loud that they can hear it like through the headphones. Like to the point where it's damaging your ears, but they get the point.
I pretty much just like, I'll say hello, say like confirm my name and everything. And then I'll have music on. I'll just look down at my phone for the first 5 minutes, like very intensely. So they know I'm like, hopefully not ready to talk. And then after that,
Yeah.
usually I'm fine.
Yeah.
Another thing I used to do as well, and this is back when I was a bit more like nervous about saying I'm a YouTuber, because it was back when I had like 10, 20k subs and I was
Sure.
like only getting there. But like, I just like completely lie about what I do. They're like, oh, what do you do? And I just tell a completely false story just because it's really
Nice.
fun.
That is kind of fun. You got to give the Uber driver something to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that just reminded me. I had OneDrive. I think I did say I was a YouTuber at this point, and he's asking me on tips on how to like. He says like I do YouTubers why I make like football compilations or something. He's asking for like tips how to grow his channel and stuff. It's like, dude, I don't know. I don't know. You're in a different fucking
You're
niche
like-
than me.
Different, complete. Yeah,
That's funny.
it's true. I couldn't tell.
That was good.
Well, Dan, I think this is a good place to wrap up. We've gone on every spectrum of where we could have talked about today.
Yeah, sweaty gamer nerds, Uber drivers, politics, religion, fast food. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's it. We've covered everything. This is, you know what? This is our last podcast episode because we've talked about everything today.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm kidding. We'll keep annoying you by talking.
Yes.
But yeah, I think this is a good spot to end it.
Oh.
Dan, do you have any final words? Makes it sound like I'm killing you.
It does. Oh well, let's do a final question instead.
Oh, okay.
If you were to be killed at the hands of someone, and you could
Yeah.
send one final message to the world, or to your loved ones, whatever you want, what would you say?
See, I like having the power to send a message to the world because I would just, if I knew I was dying, I would just send something crazy.
Yeah, let's say that. Let's say
And
if you were dying and your last sentence or so would be broadcast to the world, what would you say?
So how is it broadcast? Is it just like everyone in the world sees it, it's all over the news? Or is it like a voice in their mind says it?
Let's say a voice in their mind.
I'm trying to think of what
And like
specifically,
the people,
but I would
the
say
people
something.
that know you will know it's you and will know you're probably joking or whatever, but everyone else will just be like, God? What is this?
Oh God, what insane. I'd do something that would just stir absolute chaos. And I'm just trying to think of what would be the best thing to do.
Would you want the world to go into anarchy?
I mean, I shouldn't. But yeah, a little bit.
I think the easy if it's a telepathic message to everyone's voice's head, I think the easiest thing to stir shit would just like be basically confirm or not confirm any sort of religious thing because it would just fuck
be like,
everyone
no
up.
God is real or something like that. Yeah, it's got to be something just super universal.
Yeah. Like, if you just said like I am real, I feel like a lot of people would take that in a religious sense, and then everything I think would just be amplified.
Oh God, the fanatics would just go insane.
Yeah.
I am real and you are right.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah. You're following the correct religion. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
And then just die.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it.
Or like, or something to give individuals like a sense of like, just say like you are the chosen one, like follow your mission or something.
Everyone's the chosen one.
Everyone's the chosen one.
Yeah.
You're the chosen one. Storm your nearest political, like
Storm the Capitol.
storm the Capitol. Do it again.
Yeah. Look, there'd be a lot of people who would start talking to me like, oh, you also heard you were the chosen one? Okay, cool. It's a message to everyone. But there would be plenty of people who are like,
No, it's only me.
I am the chosen one. It's only me.
Mhm.
There'd be enough.
Or
Yeah.
you just say just blankly, everybody is lying to you.
Yeah, it's good.
Everyone is lying to you. Do not
just-
believe do not believe what anyone else says, or some shit.
Yeah. Just anything that just is universal and stirs just absolute chaos.
Yeah, because like the majority of people would probably be like, okay, this is just like some sort of
Whatever.
worldwide phenomenon. But there'd be enough people that would be like, they would turn them a bit insane,
Oh.
and it'd cause a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Be really funny.
Yeah, for sure. I like how we could have used this for good and we just didn't.
Like, what would you
Yeah.
say to if you wanted a good scenario?
I don't know.
Because like, if you say something like love thy neighbor, that's already in religious books, and
They
no
already
one
know
fucking
that.
follows it. So that's not
that's
gonna work.
true. Yeah, so you might as well stir some chaos.
Yeah. I don't know.
Huh.
Listen to the Objectively
bad
Bad
people.
podcast. That's what they should do.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, that's what we would say. It would see if I died though, you would just get everything. I mean, I guess I would want that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
There's just one video that has just like billions of views, and then they go back down to our normal like ratings.
Yeah, probably.
It'd be kind of sad.
This channel's not even monetized, so I'd get no money from it. It'd just be a lot of views for nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I can sell a product.
Yeah, there you go. You could be the new Talk Tua. Anyways, guys,
Yep.
thank you for listening today. That's where we're ending it, and I hope you have a fantastic day.